Hello, wonderful scholars. This has been one of the hardest things I've had to teach here at Big Bend Community College. I am not sure why. Finding a quantitative versus qualitative article. And for this particular piece, I want you to do both. So what Module 1 is about is I want you to be able to identify a scholarly article, understand what it is, understand the pieces, know the criteria, know how one might be quantitative, qualitative, maybe a literature review or other types of things. But for here, we're specifically going to need a quantitative and qualitative article. I have videos for you. Again, when I bring in a video, I am not giving up on something. I want you to know that I went out to find something that would be very brief and to the point, which I know you guys appreciate. We're going to be doing 2 journal article references. You've already done one of these. I don't know if you'll remember how to use it, but I will, of course, have the general support I always have. Now, I want you to read through this about comparing sources. This has to do with the 3 different types of things you might find. Our ProQuest database has these pretty well laid out. A scholarly versus popular versus trade. These are very, very important. Probably for here, some of you may actually need trade articles and be able to use things from a business or agricultural sense. Sometimes a trade article is going to be very practical and you'll be able to take some of that information and hit the road with it. It's from people that are really doing the things, as it were. Sometimes these will come out pretty immediately. Popular magazines, you know, they're failing, but still many of them are online. We still have digital magazines and things of that nature. Usually these are easy to understand in general public, but when we're working with academic research, we're really called upon many times to use the scholarly or peer-reviewed articles. And you will be finding 2 of these today. So make sure you read through these pieces and think about them. As always, if I do a graphic, I put something in print if you'd prefer to read it in that way or copy it and look at it. Now, here you're going to have a 30-minute video. It is actually me. I'm going to be talking about scholarly articles. This is not coming up on my computer right now. I want you to go through the pieces and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So when you find your pieces for the project this week, it's going to have these pieces inside of it. And if it doesn't, it will not fit what you need for the project. And I did put these in these little pieces up here, but I put the script down here if you'd rather read it in that way. These are really important. You could actually use these to help you write some of your annotations, not just for this class, but for others in the future. It's a really very clearly written piece, if I say so myself. You're going to take a quiz, so I know that you know what's going on with those. And this, make sure you read this, go through this video. I picked it very specifically because I think it's clear. And after you finish that, I want you to look at my chart. Compare the 2 types. What does this do? What does this have? You can use all of these different pieces for your annotation in this week's assignment as well. And as usual, if I have an image, I have something there. So make sure you go through it. Primarily, these are 2 rich ways of doing research. Sometimes, or some disciplines will prefer quantitative. When you say quantitative, think of quantify. This should be thinking about numbers, all right? So if it collects data, if it has some sort of measure, if you're seeing lots of charts and numbers and chi-squares and things of this nature all together in your piece, and often it will also say quantitative, you'll know that's what it's doing. Now, qualitative sometimes it's considered soft, but it's really, really not. It's a different way of looking at things. You're going to focus on emotions, behaviors. It's going to be focus groups. It's going to be people doing observations of how people might do something. They'll be giving people diaries and go, hey, record your feelings on these topics. Ethnographies, diary studies, focus groups, all these types of things. So it's not soft. It's actually a different point of view. Like if you look at an emergency room and see what's going on, you might want to know how many people come in per hour, what's going on, how old they are, and all these different measures. But also on the qualitative side, You might want to know, why did they choose the emergency room over another way? Why would they choose to sit this long or leave? What brought them here and who did they come with? There's stories, diaries, interviews, observations around here that if you're working on reworking an emergency room area, you actually would like to know all the stories. You'd like to have the data as well. When you do that, those are often called mixed methods, and you'll actually commonly see them. When you did the newspaper piece where I had the Likert scales and some other pieces, but then I asked for your opinion, that's a mixed method. In fact, you do them all the time. And the reason you do them is because sometimes while people kind of think they know what they want to know from you, what you actually have to tell them may be something quite different. So make sure you understand these two ideas, and I will have a little video because I want you to use Academic Search Complete and ProQuest this week and be able to find a qualitative scholarly article and a quantitative scholarly research article that has all the pieces that I just showed you on the previous page. Do you see what I'm saying? If not, as always, ask me.